Welcome back to another show, everybody. This is You Made Roscoe, and I am Roscoe. And today I have a special guest here with me. This is one of my guys. We go like way back. We go back to like the '90s, and this is my man, Cash Check or Credit. Excuse me. I got to make sure I get that right. And
Yeah.
uh,
What's happening, man?
Ain't nothing to it, man. Just glad to have you here, bro. Glad to
Yeah,
finally have you here. You
yeah,
know,
we go back like a throwback, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we also got to make sure we get that check day segment going. We gonna have that going for people too, so people can look out for that coming up.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be real nice, real nice.
you
So,
know,
so, so, we introducing them to the game givers
yeah.
segment, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we doing today. We doing this. We gonna actually be checking out this video on a. This is what I'm thinking is a song by Scott-Heron. And this is called "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised." I know that it's a phrase that's been said out there, put out there for a long time. A lot of people don't even realize that this phrase and this song comes from him. But I want to ask you, Check, like, what exactly do you know about this guy, if anything?
Um, I know a few things about him. I know he has influenced the culture on a whole. I know he's influenced poetry and practically the mind state of a lot of our parents as well as our younger generation. I know he was in New York. He lived, I think he was born like, I think maybe 1940 something, maybe 49, maybe, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But I know he passed like, I think maybe in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
He had a time period where he had dibbled and dabbled in things of I don't quote me, but I want to say it was some type of addiction that he may have had,
Yeah.
and it was told that he may have passed from HIV. But that's neither here nor there. He started at a freshman, like 18 years old, possibly when he was starting to write his poetry and things. And then he coined the phrase, "The revolution will not be televised," and we didn't see that get played throughout the culture. And his style was reminiscent of what we would consider hip hop or whatever, but it
Mm-hmm.
had a blues type theme to it also, with the pain that we go through as a people. And I think he had coined the phrase bluesology or something like that. But he was from Chicago.
Right.
He was
Right.
born in Chicago. And by the time he was 21, he was really putting it down. I know Wintertime in America, The Bottle,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of more great classics. I think he might have did like more than 10 albums, probably about 13, 14 albums or something. But
Now,
he
see, that's a thing I didn't realize is that he put out that much stuff, But I don't wanna hold this up because I do want to be able to get to the video, and then we'll end up stopping it a few times anyway to like get rebuttal and all that before we get to the end. But we'll go ahead and start this up, and then we can kind of continue our conversation throughout. So
yeah,
um,
that's cool. Let's get into it.
let's do it.
I was wondering about our yesterdays and digging through the rubble. And to say the least, somebody went to a hell of a lot of trouble to make sure that when we looked things up, we wouldn't fare too well. And we would come up with totally unreliable pictures of ourselves. But I've compiled what few facts I could, such as they are, to see if we could find out a little bit of something. And this is what I got so far. First, white folks discovered Africa. They claimed it fair and square. Cecil Rhodes couldn't have been robbing nobody because, hell, there wasn't nobody there.
Now, I'm gonna stop it for a second because I didn't realize that it wasn't a song. I was under the assumption that it was a song, but this is cool too. You know,
Yeah,
this is
well, you know, when it comes to songs, it's all poetry and words. So, you know, if he sing it, it'll be a song.
right.
But
No, you're right.
he do got some songs, but I don't know if he's gonna correspond it in this video. But I
Right.
can't wait to see. I know there is a music version to it, but I
Yeah.
think in this video he might be like breaking it down. You know, the acapella version of it.
No, and that's fine. I'm more than cool with that. You know, I definitely, you know, the stripped down version of anything is
Yeah,
the version I would prefer because it gives me a chance to kind of absorb the artist. So,
yeah,
um,
we can feel his energy right here.
word, word.
Yeah,
Yeah, let me go ahead and tap back into this guy and see where because so far I'm getting of course what we know from him is a lot of the social consciousness that he brings,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
to the shit. So
yeah.
we can let him delve further into you know this whole thing. So
And the time period in which he dropping this.
yeah, no, that's important. I'm glad you said that because that the time at which this is happening is very important too. So I'm glad you said so.
And white folks brought all the civilization because there wasn't none around. How could the folks be civilized when wasn't nobody writing nothing down? And just to prove all of their suspicions, well, didn't take too long. They found out that there were whole tribes of people in plain sight running around with no clothes on. That's right. The men, the women, the young, and the old righteous folks covered their eyes. And no time was spent considering the environment. Hell no, this just wasn't civilized. And another piece of information they had, or at least this is what we were taught, is that unlike the civilized people of Europe, these tribal units actually fought. And yes, there was some crude implements, and yes, there was primitive art, and yes, they were masters of hunting and fishing, and courtesy came from the heart. And yes, there was love and medicine, religion, intertribal communication by drum, but no paper, no pencils, and no other utensils. And hell, these folks never even heard of a gun. And
This is when I like to get your thoughts checked on like what you hearing from him so far.
So far, I'm hearing the sarcasm in the indication of how people felt they were entitled to say they discovered something when it was already something there. You can't discover something that's been discovered already. So I'm really feeding into his energy on how he puts it, the information that we were given.
Mhm.
I think that's a deep statement because he didn't say the truth or the educated, you know, education. He said the information that you were given. So then you have to question your information. But I think he breaking down a whole lot of things in reference to the psyche of how things are going now and the times we living in and how it was back then, even before his time. I'm trying to find where the change is at.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. You know, but I'm looking at it more as just plain perspective. You know, and whether it be from the European side or those tribesmen that he's describing, which we know is you know our original people. Well, we've been so far separated and so westernized at this point, you know, and it's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm looking at it more as just viewing the landscape for what it is.
Yeah.
Whether you're on one side or the other one, and just saying this is what I see.
And,
You know what I mean?
and I like the way he actualized on the fact that there's always been something here before you were here.
Word. I like that. I like that. That's
No matter what side you take, there was still something here before there was a side to take.
ain't nothing, you said something right there, brother. you said some stuff. We can keep this going though.
Yeah.
And this is why the colonies came, to stabilize the land, because the dark continent had copper and gold, and the discoverers had themselves a plan. They would discover all the places with promise. You didn't need no titles and deeds. Then they would appoint people to make everything legal, to sanction the trickery and greed. And back in the jungle, when the natives got restless, they would call it guerrilla attack. And they would never describe that the folks finally got wise and decided that they would fight back. And still, we are victims of word games. Semantics is always a bitch. Places once referred to as underdeveloped are now called mineral rich. And the game goes on eternally. Unity kept just beyond reach. Egypt and Libya used to be in Africa. They've now been moved to the Middle East.
And I know we only got like what?
Man, he was dropping some jewels.
Yeah, no, I got caught up because he was, man, but anything you want to add before we get to this last 10 seconds or so of it?
No, I just like the way the theme, the revolution will not be televised, means a lot of things will go unseen to the eye.
Right.
To the physical eye, you just sitting there watching TV expecting to see the change within the channels that you flipping through. You're not gonna see it.
Yeah.
The revolution starts within.
I get you. I feel that. Let's get this last little bit in before and finish this up.
There are examples galore, I assure you. But if interpreting were left up to me, I'd be sure every time folks knew this version wasn't mine, which is why it is called his story.
That's something right there. That's something.
There you go, right there. That summed it up, right?
That's something right there. His story, man.
You don't get no plane. He broke it all the way down to the end, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he did, and that's something that the people in our culture, I don't think they really pay or take heed to a lot. Is like the source of where a lot of our information has come from, down to like religion and all that. You know what I mean? Like we not even questioning none of this stuff. We just kind of going with the flow.
And I like the way he said they use different phrases and words, and I think that has a lot to do with it. Being able to coin a phrase that could tap in to a generation's train of thought. For an example, he may say they gave us information. Then he came back at the end that was his story, which is history. Now, related to this generation, you say you got to make sure that what you're reading is not fake news. You know what I mean? So we didn't have fake news way back then before they called it fake news. It's been called a whole lot of other things, misinterpretations of the truth or the taking away of history. It's easy to do. We've seen it with what went on with the destroying of different monuments and things. After the George Floyd incident, they was tearing down monuments and stuff. One part looked at it like, oh, that was great. But now you just erase history. Now somebody can say it never happened because it's not there.
Right.
You go overseas, they then took things. What's that? The people that was taking artifacts over there and tearing it up. So that was taking away history. So now the new babies being born, it's no proof that was ever there. That's like if you leave your place you went as a child, you may have lived in a neighborhood and it was a corner store right there. Now, 20 years later, it's a whole new neighborhood there. And you telling somebody, yeah, I used to go to the store right there. They don't even fathom what you're talking about because that's no longer there. So that's how they could do history. And you could say, well, it was a person hanging from a tree right there, a strange fruit, but there's no trees there anymore. It's big apartment complexes or commercial real estate buildings, and
Right.
that part of history is gone. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's up for the ones that know what they know to share the remedies, so to speak. Like how grandmama and them used to have the remedies. You didn't
Mm-hmm.
always have to run to the store. It might take a little honey or something, or some lemons or something, you know,
Real
some
talk.
sweet tea or something, you know.
Yeah.
So
No, that's real stuff. That's real stuff, and I like everything you said right there. You know,
yeah,
and I like how you broke down. You know, just what you absorbed from this guy because as a kid, when I heard this phrase, yeah, and I believe it would have had to been like somewhere around the late '80s when I took this in. I feel like it came from Public Enemy or something like that. You know,
yeah.
you
It
know,
had a good effect.
yeah, so around that time, it was it meant so much. It meant something different to than what it would mean to me now
Yeah,
because it is, as a kid then I'm thinking about like, all the civil unrest that's going on, even up to now, and I'm like, does the revolution will not be televised mean that we have to be prepared for war after that unrest bubbles? But it's deeper than that. Like the war is deeper than that as I've
like,
grown.
like
Because
I
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, like we say, the war is within. The revolution won't be televised because it's within each person. The
Well,
revolution within yourself. The change you got to make is within you before you can change the world. You got to change yourself. You got
yeah,
to change your own perspective. And what I got most out of it is be careful of the information you carry and where you get it from. Because now I understand why information is king. If
yeah.
you got the right information, you can do the right things with it. But if you don't have the right information, you could be on a journey to nowhere your whole existence
Mhm.
just from taking in the wrong information.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I think people just need to be mindful and learn how to even decipher the information.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
it goes right on into any of today's topic right now on the internet comes from either bad information, good information, or the way the information is being interpreted by the individual
Ding,
to
ding, ding.
determine whether it's good or bad.
The interpretation is everything, man, and or the misinterpretation. Because
Yes,
that,
like you
that's
said.
that's what's
Yeah.
that's what's happening more than anything. Is a lot of misinterpreting of
Yeah.
what somebody's trying to express or the express view, or so people are always misunderstanding instead of
Yeah.
trying to gain understanding. So,
Yeah.
um,
And one more thing I want to reiterate before we leave
mhm,
this wonderful topic and such a great game giver Gil Scott-Heron was the fact that his thread is laced throughout the culture of hip hop. He really had a big influence on the culture that I think he really needs to be recognized for. You
yes, sir.
know, his poetry was that of an MC. If you put it in that term of today's MC, his
Yeah,
poetry was just as dope as any artist that's out right now. The lyrics that he was spitting, it was profound, and
yeah.
it stood the test of time. You know,
Mhm.
and I
No,
just want to give him his flowers and salute him, and make sure we carry that legacy on. It's him being one of the greatest game givers to affect the mind state of this society and put a lot of things in its proper perspective during that time period all the way to now.
You're right. You're right. No, you couldn't have said it no better, or it couldn't have been said any better than how you just put it right there, bro. So I like that. And he was I really believe like the heads, the hip hop heads from the generation that we come from. You know what I mean? Like I think a lot of those heads was aware
Yeah.
the impact, because I only became aware of Gil through that generation of hip hop dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the more conscious heads is how I became aware of this guy. So yeah, they did know that his attachment to the history of the culture, So yeah, with that was some stuff to be said. But me and Check, we gonna get ready to get up out of here. Before we do, you got something you want to add before we get out? First of all, get your promote on for anything you need to get out there.
Hey, just on all platforms, it's cash, check, or credit. Just check me out wherever I'm at. I'm just blessed and happy to be here, and especially the game givers giving out these awards. I feel real honored to be a part of this historical moment right here, and talking about the brother Gil Scott-Heron, and you let me be a part of this wonderful venture. You made Roscoe talk about it.
Well, the universe and God himself made you, made Roscoe, and he made us talk about it. So it's always bigger than just me, even though the name says what it says. I always try to remind people that there would be, you made Roscoe is a connection for all of us to enjoy. So
hey, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all put that hashtag you made Roscoe. Leave some in the comments. And this is from the game givers. And we're going to keep on giving y'all these award-winning gentlemen and women of the same light.
We are definitely going to do that, man. This was a great debut, my dude. I'm loving this. This was a great show, great conversation. I can't wait to see where we go from here. That's all I got.
Hey, it's only upward mobility, man.
That's all I see. That's all I see. I don't even need to point this way. You said it all.
Keep on rising, man. Keep on rising.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, like Check said, do all that, liking and subscribing. At some point, I will make separate playlists for all the things that are music related and that aren't. So, as far as the reactions go, but
we just started a poetry category too, huh?
We might as well now. You know what I mean? So, if anybody has any suggestions for any of these type of deals that you want me and Check to go over, I had no issue with that. So, yeah, no, we gonna get going. We got to go, and we'll be seeing you guys again real soon on the flip. Check, you got something you want to say to them before we get going?
Hey, everything's illustrious.
All right, that's it. That's all. He done said it all. I done said it all. We done said it all. It's over. It's over. Peace.
Peace.